Alright, so it's been a minute since we haven't had any Warframe content. So when it comes to the weapon I'm using today, I'm going to be covering the Venato Prime. The Venato Prime came out with Caliban's Prime access, and as well with that, it came out with the Vadarya Prime, which is that railgun sniper that does like chain lightning, almost like the Cloud Strike from Destiny 2. Overall, when it comes to the Venato Prime is not a bad scythe. Compared to its normal one, it's obviously an upgrade, but to me, the way its unique thing is where on a status effect you apply Tau, I think it really should be able to be applied through melee influence, but after multiple attempts and a lot of testing, I found out it does not. So instead of using a influence build today, I have made a melee vortex build. The melee vortex build, basically whenever you proc magnetic, will suck in enemies and drag them to the part where it had procced. The reason this is very nice is because now that they're clumped together, the the status effect can now be applied to them, which allows me to just keep going. And with the Tau being high enough, eventually you'll just be dealing even more status, because that's what Tau does. The higher the status, the more status effect damage they take, which is very, very nice. Overall, it feels quite good and quite strong, especially whenever you apply it with other statuses. Like if you use this on a Lavos, it'd be pretty good. Spread Tau to enemies, hit your 3, 1, 4, whatever you like. I think it'd spread quite nicely. When it comes to all of his abilities combined, though, with Caliban, since you are getting a higher likelihood of proccing it with him on, with the weapon on him, I think it's very nice, especially since you can use your 1 to clump up the enemies and continue that status effect spreading. But how does this feel on a Acolyte? Let's find that out. I'll be back when one spawns. Alright, and we got ourselves an Acolyte spawning in. Who do we get? We get Violence, who is a melee Acolyte. Good. At least we'll be able to take advantage of that. Alright, let's see how it does. I mean, that's not bad. It's not the worst, especially since they are status resistant. Not immune, but status resistant. That's not the worst. It did help that they were armor stripped, so that does benefit a lot. But overall, it was still pretty good for a level 170 Acolyte. But as you see, I'm still able to kill quite nicely with it. We're getting a lot of good red crits, especially with me just having Blood Rush on this thing. And I think that's, no, Galvanized Steel. Getting good status crits with Galvanized Elementalist and Weeping Wounds. So you see, it does quite well. But let's cover the build in the Simulacrum, shall we? And we're in the Simulacrum. So when it comes to the Venato Prime, when you compare it to the other one, it is a very big difference. As you can see, you go from 27 to 34, 2.1 to 2.3, 24 to 32%. Like, that's really good. Your slashes increase, your puncture gets increased by a whole 12, and your impact is increased by about 3.8. Not bad in total. So, overall, how does it feel being built and modded? The way I modded it is a little different from how others may, but lets you breathe the unique trait. On status effect, inflict Tau status effect, plus 50% additional combo count chance when wielded by Caliban. So when it comes to the Tau status effect, it does not get affected by melee influence. So I took it off entirely and thought, okay, how else can I spread status effect but also apply it to a lot of enemies? That was by clumping them together with Melee Vortex. Melee Vortex is kill an enemy affected by a magnetic status for a 45% chance to pull in enemies within an 18-meter radius, which is very good. We have that mixed in with Volcanic Edge for an additional status, but we have Conditional Overload, Blood Rush, Primed Reach, Galvanized Steel, Weeping Wounds, and Galvanized Elementalist. Now, how does this feel in a controlled setting? Let's test this on some level 200 Scaldra enemies, shall we? So we have some level 200 Scaldra enemies. So how does it feel with Venato Prime whenever you deal with this? So there we go, we pull them in, and as we continue to keep meleeing, as you'll see, the status effects keep applying thanks to us using Nautilus, and then they just eventually pop. Now, granted, this guy is very, very thick with like multiple Cs, but as you saw, it does do very, very well. On top of that, you could also mix in things like my Sentient Wrath, where you spread even more Tau. You could Razor Gyre them if you have that, or some other ability that pulls in enemies, and then just keep swinging. This is more of a light attack build, but if you want, you could build it for heavy with like having Galvanized Reflexes on, putting on more heavy attack efficiency mods like Focus Rad-on, so you can have Radiation. But overall, it feels really, really strong and really good. But there is some issues with it, and I will tell you more about that when we head to the back rooms. I'll see you back there. All right, so what were the issues I was talking about? Well, it is a weapon fighting a lot of other competitive, I think is the word I'll be looking for, weapon choices like dual Icors, Hate, Coda Haruto, which has healing on crit. For a while, Coda Meyer was really good, but I think it still can work, but I don't know. The dual Viscus is also really good. I love it a lot. Other weapons it is fighting. I think the Tenkata is really good. A lot of people aren't a big fan of it, but I like it. What else? Other Incarnons, obviously, like the Severe, if you get its Incarnon, it could be fighting that if the Slam build still works on it. I haven't used it in forever. I really was a big fan of the Spinnerex. I could see it also competing with things like the Coda Path Assist, which a lot of people do like using, and like Stropha or Redeemer and stuff like that. Weapons that obviously have a gimmick that a lot of people like. The Venato's gimmick is just being able to spread status, which Caliban can already do. But overall, it's a good weapon, feels nice, it's very strong, very powerful, and hits very hard. Other than that, tell me what weapons you all want to see down below. Well, Warframes, guns, stuff like that. Tell me if you all want to see fashion builds, stuff like that. And whenever the new update comes out, I will try my hardest to get the Devil Frame as quick as possible. Other than that, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.